Keep this in mind. I am just one beggar trying to tell another beggar where to find some bread. So please, I'm not perfect. I have not got it all figured out yet. I am working on making myself a happier person, a more joyful person, a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. I am trying to give hope to those around me. I'm trying to treat people better. I'm trying to be patient with people. And here, I cannot, in myself, I fall back to my old judgmental way. Like I am picking the fly poop out of the pepper when it comes to people's personalities, the work that they do, the things that they do, the way that they, what the words that they say. I'm constantly trying to pick through everything, trying to pick the fly poop out of the pepper, right? That's kind of my nature. So in myself, listen, I am 100% not, I fall short when it comes to showing the grace of God in my own efforts, in my own judgmental, genetically passed down way. So today I wanted to bring a very simple truth. It is 1 Corinthians 13, where I'm just going to start with verse 4. This is talking about the way God loves you. This is 100% God's love for us. But I think these are this is the example which he sets on how we need to deal with those around us. Whether that is a kid who's acting like a fool, who is, let's just use this as an example. If your child is getting in their car, driving down the road, texting and driving with their safety belt on, you better step in and show them and teach them why that is not safe. You have a perfectly legitimate reason to step into your child, into the way of what your child's doing, and reprimand, discipline, do whatever it takes to get your point across that this will not be tolerated. At the end of the day, though, they need to know why it's not tolerated, because it would break your heart if they are killed because they're texting and driving and you let it go on. They have to understand it is love. The words that we speak to our children, to the people around us. I think Proverbs 18, somewhere in Proverbs 18, it talks about there is life or death in our tongue. The words that we speak can either lift somebody up and encourage them, maybe point them down that straight and narrow path that is the path of Jesus Christ. It is straight and it is narrow. Or are we going to belittle them, drag them down, use words that hurt, words that are not edifying, words that make them feel less of a person? Are we going to hurt are we going to make the people around us insecure with the words we speak? They're going to carry that stuff forever. Know this, especially those parents out there. The words and the way that we treat our children, it will stick with them. And then who are they going to turn to when they try to fulfill the hurt that's in them? Be careful, because there's all kinds of stuff out there in this world. There is all kinds of stuff for them to turn to try to deal with the hurt that we cause them. We have to first and foremost, I'm telling you what, love the heck out of your children. They don't know you love them. They don't know that you're proud of them. I know we think as parents, my kids must know that I love them. My kids must know that I'm proud of them. If they knew that, then why would they constantly be coming up to you trying to get you to give them a compliment? Why would they constantly be coming at you looking for your approval? And if you don't see that your kids are looking for your approval, you're not paying attention. Look your children in the eye and give them words of affirmation. There's nobody else in this world giving your children words of affirmation right now. Consider that. And you know what? And those that may be actually building them up a little bit, they enjoy their approval, but they want and need your approval. So I believe that 1 Corinthians 13, the way that these words of God's love towards us, that agape love, and he loves our children the same way, right? So we know this, but we need to present ourselves and act as Christ does for us, who first loved us. Who first loved you? in your sin, in your transgressions, in your most awful spots in your life, think back to some of the worst things you've done in your life. Think back to some where the hardest spots your heart was at. Think back about that. Think about your own transgressions against the world and the people around you. Think towards how much grace you've been shown by God. Now try to extend that grace. Try to draw from that well. Like the Samaritan woman, when Jesus shows up in her shame and guilt, when she has to go to the well, when it's 100 degrees, 120 degrees in the day, but that's still when she goes because there's nobody else in the town there, because she's living in shame and guilt, and she's trying to hide in that shame and guilt. She's trying to hide from things that the people around her think that she's done. But who shows up and who is there in the midst of her shame and guilt? And then extends the olive branch, so to speak. That anyone who drinks of the living water of Jesus Christ, right? He offers this up to her right in the midst of her. In fact, he comes to her. He goes to that well specifically to offer up the peace and the joy that surpasses all, to offer up her a new creation that she can be through the water that he's offering. Are we extending to our children, to our wives, to our husbands, to our employees, to our employers, to the people who are, if you fall on the left, are you extending the kind of joy, are you extending the grace to those on the left or the right or the left? I ask you. Or are you just looking and hating on them? Are you hating on them and giving them words of hate? Or are you showing them God's love? Are you showing them the love that God showed you? So here it is. Here's the love that God showed you. Here's what we need to practice. 1 Corinthians 13. I'm going to start right verse 4. Love is patient. Love is kind. It's not jealous. Love does not brag, and it is not arrogant. Does not act unbecoming. It does not seek its own. It is not provoked. Does not take into account the wrong sufferings. Does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. Bears all things. Okay? Even when your people around you hurt you, lie to you, disappoint you. When people disappoint us, it does not rejoice. Love, God's love for us, does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. And it bears all things, believes all things, hopes in all things. Let me see this one more. And it endures all things. Listen, y'all. Again, I'm just one beggar trying to tell another beggar where to get some bread. This is God's love for you. This is the love he has shown you. And if you don't know God's love, I encourage you to get in the Word of God so you can know that God's love he loves you. I'm telling you, he loves you personally. Like this is an agape love. This is the kind of love that we can't understand. We cannot comprehend the love that God has for us. And he has exhibited his love in remarkable ways in our lives here and now. And then in Jesus Christ, he exhibited his love. He shows us how much he loves us and how much he wants us in his life. And even though we are unholy and we need to be justified, he brought forth a way so that he can have that relationship with you. Are we doing the very things that God has done for us, for those around us that we love? Are we bringing them, showing them grace, love, and mercy, even when they disappoint us, irritate us, and go against what we've asked them to do, especially with our children, right? Are we loving them and showing them grace and teaching them why we want them to stop, cannot tolerate them texting and driving? And it's just, I'm giving you one example because if you are okay with your children texting and driving around, do you really love your child? Because it's dangerous. Even you need to stop texting and driving. I need to stop texting and driving because my children need me to come home that night. And if I die as I'm texting and driving, distracted in any way, or whatever the case may be, there are things that we are doing that are dangerous. There are things our children might be doing. I'm not okay with my children going out and partying and getting drunk and then driving home with a teenage kid. You know why? Because I love them and I want them to come home. I do. And I need them to know why it's not okay to drink and ride with a teenager, whatever, text and drive. I need them to know why I can't tolerate them going to parties or places they shouldn't be or websites they shouldn't be, because I don't want their minds to be corrupted, to be perverted by the world and the ugliness and the sin and the depravity of this world. I want them to know the love that I have for them, that I'm proud of them, that I love them and I need them in my life, and I need them to be Jesus Christ. The sin, I need them to understand what the sin in their life is going to do when it comes to Jesus Christ. The sin that will separate them from Jesus Christ and leave them lonely and hurting, because we all have a hole in our hearts if it is not being filled with Jesus Christ. So I just want to encourage us to be encouraging, to bring the hope, to give and show the grace that we've been given. We were first shown the grace. We were first forgiven. How much were you forgiven for? How much have you been loved even though you don't deserve it? How much grace and mercy have you been shown by those around you, and most importantly, God? That's the way we need to treat those around us, is with that same kind of zeal, same kind of zeal and love for them. How much are we loving our brothers when people in the church are failing or doing, we know what they're up to on the streets? Are we loving them and speaking truth into their life out of love? The same truth that God spoke to me on Saturday night. And he spoke some harsh truth to me. And I'm just telling you, sometimes I don't think we need to be harsh. I think we need to bring the truth, though. And we need to show them this because we love them, care for them. And we want to then we're going to extend grace and hopefully opportunities to be transformed into something that is edifying and beautiful to God. Listen, I hope today to bring some hope in your life. I hope that you understand that there is love out there that is unlike anything we can ever get from people here. It is the love of God. Go read 1 Corinthians 13. Read the whole thing, 13 through 14. Read 13 through 14 today. That's your devotion today. Go get it read. Understand God's love for you, the real love, and the kind of love that we should be showing to other people. We're only going to be able to do that if we first know that we have been shown that grace and love. Listen, y'all have a good day. Keep the faith, my friends, and be blessed.